Today's question comes from Byron in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Byron wants to know, I heard you mention on a podcast that you should always count your money in front of the person who paid you before you leave the comedy club. Can you tell me why that's the case? Absolutely, and we'll get to that answer in 1 second. When you finally reach the point where you're making money at comedy, there's a couple of things to keep in mind, and they don't sound right, but they are right. When you get paid after your first week or your first night, the manager may say, hey, here's an envelope with 25 bucks in it, here's an envelope with 250 bucks in it, whatever the case may be, and they hand it to you and they shake your hand, and you feel like, he said it was 250, I should put it in my pocket and head out. Well, if you get back to the condo or the hotel and you open up that envelope and there's only 200 bucks in there, you just missed out on 50 bucks. You can't really go back to the club and say, hey, this envelope didn't have the extra 50. They're not going to believe you. The envelope was open. You could have taken that 50 bucks and put it in your pocket. So there's one case, and it happens more than you would think, where you always want to count the money right in front of them so you don't walk out with the wrong amount of money. In another case, I worked in Georgia at one point, and the comedy club owner gave me and the feature act both an envelope after the show, and he took off. He had actually given me the feature act's envelope. The feature act took off. When I finally opened it up, I had half the money that I was supposed to have, and he had twice as much. I didn't have phone numbers for the feature act. I didn't have the home phone number for the club owner, and there I was sitting there in the parking lot with the wrong amount of money. So I learned my lesson that night, and luckily I was able to get the money I was actually due, but I heard the feature act never returned the extra money that he got, and he never worked that club again. Now, the third reason why you always want to count your money in front of the person that paid you is they may have given you extra money on purpose as a tip for doing a great job. One time I didn't count the money. I got out of the showroom and the manager just kind of looked at me like I was kind of an idiot. The whole time he was expecting to be thanked for the extra money that he gave me. And I didn't realize for a few more minutes until I opened the envelope that that's what he did. So I finally went over and said, hey, there's an extra 50 bucks in here. He's like, oh, that's for you. Thanks for doing a great job. If I'd waited until I got back to the hotel to check it, I wouldn't have had the chance to thank him in person. So there's 3 cases where counting the money in front of the person who paid you was very important. Hey, don't worry about doing it. It feels a little unnatural, but every well-run club will have a manager that expects you to count that money right there on the desk. So make sure you do before you leave. Thanks, Byron, for that great question, and I hope you enjoy living in the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Hey, if you've got a question for us here at the YouTube Q&A for the School of Laughs, just send it to us, schooloflaughs@gmail.com, or hit us up on Twitter @SchoolOfLaughs. And if you need any help with your comedy career, please check out the online classes here at schooloflaughs.com. Thanks a lot. We'll see you later.